Oh, guys, I gotta tell you something, but I just got hit in the head with a coconut. Oh, wait, I didn't. We're returning to Demilune by Jujic to watch Pisens. Wait, that's not how you say his name. Pisens. Wait, that's not how you say Pisens. He is our... Ooh, what color is this? Turquoise Terran? Cyan Terran. Dude, no way, that's Cyan on that ministry? Never would have guessed. Noiturne is our Black Zerg in the bottom right. Cyan Terran, Pisens, top left. Ignore my coconut. And we do indeed have some gas being harvested early on by Pisens. I wonder if that means he's going Fulcrum. We'll keep an eye out on that. Now, these two players duked it out in our last video, and one of the things that they managed to do was trade 1-for-1. Now, Pisens got his victory with a double Starpad Trojan. I will say, upon some sort of retrospective, which I don't normally do a heavy amount of in these kinds of games, because I'm just seeing where people are at. And usually if they're like really hunting for that improvement, you know, they can check the comments perhaps, but they can also ask on the coaching channel that we have on our Discord server, and they can provide a little bit of context for what they're looking for. Like, hey, I'm really trying to improve on this context, and then they maybe post a replay with it or whatever. So we got loads of players who like to check stuff out there, especially Neblime. Dude, second place in last Acropolis. Champion for the previous Acropolis, like the Acropolis before the previous Acropolis. You know what I'm saying? The previous Acropolis. That guy will actually watch your replay and tell you what to do. So that's pretty epic. Definitely shout out Neblime one time. And yeah, I mean, I'm just saying all of that because they can look for coaching elsewhere. But I did want to say one observation about the double star pad on the game on Muspelheim for Pisens, where he got his win. He could have hit much sooner, and if you're going double star pad and then only making like one Anseal after the double Trojan, the whole thing you're saying is I'm spending extra money so that I can get this as fast as possible, right? And so it kind of felt like maybe he should have hit with that as soon as possible. Either way, though, he still ends up picking up the dub. And we've got Noiturne over here. He is going for Larvosk Pool, and it looks like 2 more Larvosk. He's very, very much on the Larvosk train. A little bit low on the gas right now for a second one. I was going to say you could even mutate that one into a Circuith to establish dominance, but so far, that's not going to happen. We've got a couple of Vultures are going to be swinging on down. Maybe put a couple of Mines down. Actually, the Vulture has paused in the middle of the map, and the Mason is keeping watch of what's going on. Sees the Quaz count. This kind of reminds me of... I mean, it's very, very baseline reminder of, like, moving your Worker Scout throughout the enemy base in Brood War, you know, in Starcraft 1. Obviously, it's very different in Cosmo because the workers move slower, and so you don't really get guaranteed scouting off from them. You also have, like, Quasilisks instead of Zeths and stuff like that, so that doesn't help either. But overall, what I was seeing there was, like, keeping tabs on how many units were being made, how many combat units were being made versus workers, and how much early pressure he might be able to pull as a result. I do like that he's kind of canvassing the area with his Vultures. This might remind him of Hellions in StarCraft 2. I am totally pigeonholing Pisens as a StarCraft 2 player, by the way. I have no idea if he's going to be like, what's a Medevac or a Hellion? I don't know what those games... What is that game? Yeah, he might not even know what I'm talking about, but that's sort of what I'm thinking of. And yeah, actually, he's done a pretty good job of, you know, keeping tabs on where the Zerg moves out, but at the same time, Noiturne clearing 2 mines for 1 Quaz, that's one hell of a bargain. Now, we are going to need to see some more get laid down. And Noiturne's not quite on the ball about, like, being super, you know, okay, now he's going to try to step forward and maybe get a little bit of action done. Now, unfortunately for him, he does end up getting a couple of his Quaz stunned, and that's another hit on 3 of them. Is he still going to try to step forward? Oh, man, he's actually flubbing the controls here a little bit. He's got plenty more, though, so not really likely to get too off his rocker. We got a bunch of Cyclops kind of guarding nothing. I guess they might have been... It might have been an intention to move the Cyclops further down. Looks like they are going to come across the map. And we're making more of those. Okay, and the expansion is coming for Pisens. Noiturne doesn't have that much money right now, but he's making a ton of Quaz, keeping his larva down, keeping his minerals down. And it looks like, has he discovered rally points? Oh my god. I'm a proud dad. Now, we do have 6 Cyclops. Oh wait, Krankendow is Noiturne's dad. I forgot. Okay, never mind. I'm a proud grandfather? I don't know. I think Krankendow and I are similar ages. So you ask me why I'm his dad. The Drolath count here is higher than the Mason count. Definitely feels like there were some cuts made at a few different points to get all of this infrastructure up. He's getting a Sieve, he's getting a Palladium, getting a Goliath. Very expensive stuff there. A Sieve is like, I think 150 minerals. I can't quite remember off the dome. Might be 200. But either way, he's going to have to deal with the fact that there's a horde of Quasilisks. A veritable horde. What is that, 34? I guess, like, after they passes 33, it becomes a horde. That's my thinking. So, comment below your personal threshold for a horde of Zerg. Zerg horde. Or the horde. There is actually, I was planning, you know, I like to live in Fantasyland sometimes, so really, Cosmonarchy already is Fantasyland, because I imagined stuff like this. I imagined having, you know, hundreds of players, and people trying out the game for the first time, and sending me replays of them competing, and, you know, getting daily videos out, and doing all, I already imagined all this stuff. Dude, I'm already playing with house money. I've already done so much more than I thought I'd be able to do as just some guy on the internet. So I'm already very appreciative of that. Doesn't mean I'm going to slow down. I'm doing more. But we're going to see how far this can go, right? That being said, I am very appreciative of the fact that we already have so much going for us. So when I say I like to live in Fantasyland, don't take it the wrong way. I already feel like I kind of am. But what I was going to say there is, I was thinking about, like, well, if we don't stop at the Escozi for our 4th race, what's our 5th race going to be? And so that's where we thought about the Blood Summon. I've been thinking about them and how I could add them. They're basically like this demonic sci-fi demon force. I guess the closest analog would be, like, you could try to pull Chaos from 40k, but they're very different than that. You could try to compare them, I guess, to, like, the fact that there's a demonic force and sci-fi also makes people think of Doom. I don't really know the lore of the new Doom series. I feel like Doom and lore are kind of like, it's kind of like saying big shrimp, you know what I mean? It's like an oxymoron. It's a contradiction. I don't know. There's like something weird going on there. But a paradox. There you go. That's what I was thinking of. Holy shit, we've got tier 2 at before 7 minutes. Anyway, the 6th race, speaking of Fantasyland, if we end up getting past Escozi and Blood Summon, those are going to be the Kogri. So the Kogri will be very, very interesting, I think, because they're ones that you could call a horde in the context of the fact that they're like they're going to have a brutish aspect to them. For those who follow Xibalba, they're kind of comparable in some ways to the Rune, except that they aren't like bioengineered. So anyway, those are the kinds of cool things. If you guys don't know about lore and writing and all that stuff that's related to my work, then you have no idea what I'm talking about. For the 5 people who do, now you know. Thinking about a Rune equivalent. Thinking about the Kogri for our 6th race. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff. We have a strange Circuith push here from Noiturne as he attempts to take a 3rd base. He's going to have to deal with the fact that his Drolith is stunned. He's put up a bunch of Quas, and they've unburrowed right next to where the Phalanxes have sieged, but oh, they decollide, and the Cyclops and the Phalanx splash is more than enough to deal with them. Well, the Trojan is nearly complete for Pisens. He might be able to just scoop up one of his Phalanxes and ferry it across the bridge, but right now he is struggling to break through the circuits. He won't struggle for very long, though. I mean, I think he can narrowly reach this Circuith. No, just out of reach. He was shooting at like a Phalanx or a Quas or something. Now, at this point, the Azeracors are here. Those are great versus Cyclops, honestly. They don't bunch up as much as Zets or Quas. They deal pretty good damage to unarmored targets. Goliaths and unsieged Phalanxes, not so much, right? So you are going to need to whip out the Hydralisk, I think. Present your Hydralisk, sir. Is that a Hydralisk in your pants? Oh my god, it is. Seek medical attention. Well, there's no Hydralisks coming for Noiturne. He is going to add more circuits to keep slowing this down. He doesn't have any air units coming to help him versus the Phalanxes, and he's not really able to get it across there to actually bring down the Goliaths. His endless Quas parade is actually kind of distracting the mech units so that the Circuith could have done more damage, but it does end up getting regressed. One Goliath finally going down, swiftly followed by a Cyclops, but now we've got a Shaman, and it's deployed. By golly, by God, how do you get past that? Zorka Shroud into a Mutat Spire. That's how you get past it. You spend your money on some very lovely Mutalisks. I love that he's pushing forward. I love that he's keeping it going with the chaff that he's made. 11 more Azeracors are on the way. He's still not really able to break down that last Cyclops there, or, well, it's not the last one, but there's one with very low health. Ooh, devastated. What's been happening in Pisens' base? Just making more Goliath. Oh my goodness! Do not do this. I'm just kidding. You can do whatever you want. This is America. But please do not queue all your money. There's so much money. You could make like 8 more Fulcrums if you canceled half of those Goliaths. We'll see if Pisens ends up going into a tier 2 of his own later on. He has no third base, and his economy is still worse than Noiturne's, who hasn't really built up anything down at the 6 o'clock position. But he's doing his due diligence here. He's definitely having a good time of it. He's just camping the bridge, you know? This is bridge camp. He has the Trojan. He could load up some Cyclops, some Goliaths. He could do some things. Drop a few things in some places. Yeah, there it is. Load up the Goliaths. Okay, so what are we going to end up seeing here? He's going to drop the 6 o'clock and probably just kill that. Tier 2 static defense coming in for Noiturne here. Evolved circuits, the Scortriths are here. 15 Lakizilisks. He made tier 2 Mutat Spire, and he's making Lakis instead. But hey, the only detection is 1 deployed Shaman. So, you know, I suppose that works. 6 o'clock is no longer a thing. I actually don't know who's going to win this. It feels like Noiturne's got it in the bag, especially as he queues up some mutas. What's he going to do with the Lakis? Does he recognize that he was dropped? Because that kind of revealed the drop, right? And then he's like, okay, now I can burrow a couple of these guys. Yeah. Burrow's a little bit too far back. Not quite going to be able to do too much there. He'll force 1 on Burrow. These Phalanxes, by the way, have dealt a combined total of almost 6,500 damage. Now, the mutas are out. The Cyclops are the main threat to them. There we go. Big Burrow here. He's going to launch a couple salvos. He'll clear out the splash damage that Pisens has. It was expensive, but I think it was worth it. He doesn't clear out that last Phalanx, but you know what? The mutas can deal with that. They're messing up a couple more. Using his FFA knowledge, this is a Grass Eater certified classic. Make a bunch of mutas and see what you can do with them. Now, he had them selected. He's going to go after the Trojans now. Remember this one Lake is and a couple of circuits here helping out as well. There's some more that are going to go ahead and burrow. Goliaths are very good versus air, but they're not going to be able to do this much damage. The Trojans will not escape, or at least one of them won't. The other one might actually escape. Nope, the mutas come back in to clear out the Goliaths, so there you go. It's expensive. It is expensive. He's got a lot more mech on the front lines. He only made the 2 Phalanxes. Imagine if he made more. All right, we definitely need to see a couple more mutas be made, I think, if you're going to hold this push. We only have 5 left. Okay, a couple more are hatching. Lake is behind the circuits. We love those. The Anseals will reveal them. Only 1 Scortrith remains. All right, we've got 11 mutas. They're kind of darting around, drawing fire from the Goliaths. They know that they can't engage that force, it looks like, so they're going to shark around and look for reinforcement cuts. Unfortunately, it doesn't really look like Noiturne can find too much purchase onto this front line. He needs to be able to pick that Phalanx. He's got enough minerals, but not enough Vespene to do much of anything right now. Never ended up getting that Geyser Cap. Probably didn't have the time for it, to be fair. All right, well, he's making his Calcure Lake. He's making a horde of quads just to throw chaff at the problem. More mutas have been made. Cyclops are busy dealing with the quads. They're going to do just fine over there. Yeah, the mutas are definitely struggling versus the Goliath. The mutas are, many people feel like they're not a fighting unit. They can be, but their primary use case would definitely be to fly over and kill the eco of the Terran and then just kind of whittle them down from there. Now, right now, Pisens is just rocking out with the Goliaths. A couple circuits are still here. You know, if he could kill that damn Phalanx that's dealing a ridiculous amount of damage and stopping his static defense from holding, that would be a very different situation. It looks like the Lakers are going to unburrow. He's going to see if he can step forward a little bit. 24 or some odd quas. Nothing in the tank right now for Noiturne. He might feel like it's all for naught. He's got so much money. What's he going to do with it? He's probably looking. Oh, he almost morphed it into a Gosvaleth. There's the Matravel Nest. Okay. Well, if he can hold, maybe. Circuit's doing their best. Lake is doing a crazy amount of damage right now. Really slowing down the advancement here. Huddle around the Shaman like bums around a trash fire. Get yourself some toasted buns, actually. All right, Phalanx being dove on. There's only 6 mutas, though. I don't think that's going to be quite enough to break it. If you attack that when you had twice as many, absolutely you secure that kill. 42, 43 frags, 7,000 damage. This one Phalanx is a hero. It might not get better than this, lads. Third base, under construction, on location. Tier 2 just now finishing up for Pisens. He's going to dive forward with his Goliaths. The Aziracors looking kind of scary, not very threatening at this comp, at this layer. Goliaths are the natural enemy. It is going to be a big old fat over. Big fat old over. I don't know. Big old fat L. That's what I was thinking. Unfortunate for Noiturne. He's getting his convies out. Those will be his last stand. And Pisens should be able to just muscle on through. All right, well, not a straightforward game. You know, like, even though Pisens was across the map this whole time and had tempo, if Noiturne had waypointed his mutas out into the enemy base, Pisens might have had to make a tough decision to just muscle through, and maybe he would have done it. Or he would have had to come back with his army and defend. Convi's doing their best, but one of them has already fallen. I think there's a third one lurking somewhere. Or maybe it might have been spawning down here in the natural, actually. We still had a bunch of Lakers burrowed in here, by the way, that could have maybe been used, but Aziracor Chaff are going to try to save the day. The Phalanx in siege mode. More have arrived. That's the trap card. You're only allowed 2 Phalanxes, cheater. Not really. And yeah, that looks like it will be a wrap. Only a bunch of quads left. GG called. Noiturne will have to come back in game 4 to tie us up, or Pisens will win the best of 5, I guess, at that point. That is what that would be. Whew. All right. One more game. Let's see who comes out on top, and then we must pass judgment. Non-existent chat, because this isn't live. Comment section, we must decide. What rank will these players be? We come to Cold Sweat, which recently has exited the Class 1 pool, but it is a map by Week 7, just like Muspelheim. I guess Muspelheim also exited it recently. And we have Pisens down here in the bottom right. He seems to be the Asparagus Terran? Celadon Terran. Never mind, Asparagus might be a bit brighter. And he's going back to Bio, it looks like. Sending his Mason out there to wall the front. Or maybe not. Noiturne is over here in the top left as our Black Zerg. I've definitely struggled to guess Pisens' colors. I think I'm 1 for 4 attempts at guessing his color. But that one is all I needed for the majority, considering I always know Noiturne is specialized in the one color that he wants. There was some discussion about, like, what does the color shuffle do? So if you specify multiple colors and you don't specify to shuffle, it will only give you your second or third choice or whatever if your preceding choices were taken by another player or not available on that tile set or something like that. Now, if you set it to shuffle, it'll just kind of shuffle between all of those players, all of those player colors. So, very cool, very epic. Pisens is rocking out with a second stockade, further back, no anchor this time, unlike on Genesis Y. Larvosk, pool, very standard business here for Noiturne. He is unmoved, unshaken. He will make additional Larvosks. Although I think he probably wants to mine gas with like 3, maybe even 4 workers if he wants to go that far into Larvosk territory. What's he going to do? Is he going to go for more tech instead? I thought he was... Oh, no, he's doing what I was saying. He's gonna mine with more gas harvesters. Okay. All right. I see. It'll be a Hydrith follow-up. Okay. So 2 larvae every 14 seconds. Not great eco as of right now. But we'll see what Noiturne wants to do about that. Cyprian, Anchor. Okay, so we're going to see defensive play out of Pisens. I think this is really only worth it if you can secure some kind of significant tech advantage. Maybe you can go for some kind of drop or airplay. I think you could open like this without this second stockade and go straight into like quad Starpad and spam Wraiths or something, right? Kind of scale from there. And you know, you'd be able to build a treasury and mine the gas here. That would probably be your limiting factor. Instead, it looks like it's a fast expand build. Fast-ish. Okay. We'll see what Pisens is all up to. What he's up to. What he's looking at. Droleth returns home. Looks like it's seen enough. The Quaz will take its place at the foot of the ramp. At the mouth of December. Not really. It's February. Unfortunately for Pisens, the Quasilisks will not see sense. Oh, or will they? Hey. There's a fun little feature of Discord is that you have a soundboard, right? And Jack Yelansky gifted me Nitro, which means I get to use the soundboard from other, like, sounds from the other servers that I'm in. And those servers include sounds like the Maverick death sound. So every time I would see a Scout Mason get killed by something on stream, on Discord stream, I would play that, you know, just to... It's God's work, you know? Doing God's work, playing random noises at people. But fuck you, Jack Yelansky. You played the knock-on door sound, and I thought somebody would actually needed me. Piece of shit, asshole. Funny guy. Third Stockade, Vestry. So Pisens is mostly going to be looking for his next move to be Bio again. Wants to go back to that. I do think Bio with Phalanx is actually surprisingly strong. I say surprisingly because it's just nobody does it, so you wouldn't expect it, something that nobody does to be strong, but Cosmonarchy has so many combinations. It's just waiting for you to join us and do the things that nobody thought possible. We got Izira cores coming out. We do have some Bactylisks already morphing, a healthy number of them for this early in the game. Noiturne might be thinking about going for an expand pretty soon. There it is. Starpad coming, likely going to be an Anseal for coverage, and he's got 2 more Stockades being added. So going up to 5 production on the Bio. I think Anseal when I say 1 Starpad, because Pisens has gone 2 Starpad when he went Trojan heavy. But we'll see what his first structure, his first purchase from the Starpad actually is. Got to set his rallies as well. The Zerg is moving across the map. He doesn't have a great position here to defend versus the Bactyls. There's only 4 of them. But you really want to be able to get your Hurricanes out there, your Stimmed Mavericks in their face, to reduce the damage that their bounces cause. Let's see, Anseal on the way for him. A couple of Masons over here. They can repair the anchor if they want to. So far, it looks like Noiturne having a little bit of difficulty. There's some good bounces. Clerics are going to help keep some of these units alive, but it is going to struggle a little bit. One Cyprian in that anchor. It's going to be engaged upon. Noiturne wants to erase that particular unit off of the map. But that one Hurricane rendered the armor of a lot of those Izira cores, and now they're kind of struggling a little bit. Bactylisks are still healthy, could be reinforced by this round of units. Pisens going for a Trojan, wants to drop to get his way out of this position. Okay, saturation on the mineral line there. For Noiturne, he could actually transfer 5 workers over. If you're curious about that, you count the number of mineral fields, multiply it by 2. That's the number that you need baseline, after which it's less efficient to put an extra worker on the minerals and more efficient to saturate your next base. So, you know, 15 is also a good number. Like 14, 15, anything like that is pretty much fine. We saw there was 15 for Pisens' main. He can now saturate the natural. So far, doing pretty well. We'll have to see, though. I got 6 Drolets, 8 Drolets. Okay, Noiturne definitely going for a round of macro. He's got an advanced position. He's burrowing his units. Only some of them. I saw a blue guy do that earlier, Sadistic. Ling Champ. Went by a few different names. He played in the Fraud of July, back in last July, as it might have been obvious. He's kind of enjoying himself, though. Faces new and old. Play Cosmonarchy. Very good, very good. Now here comes the next big round of attacks. You can just choose to use these Trojans and bomb on top of the Bactylisks, but with Cyprians and some of those, maybe it's not the most ideal situation. He actually chooses to leave the building and says, I can hold this, I think. As Hurricane's not finding too much value there, but there's nothing but Bactyls left in this position, actually, and they will end up going down. Not ideal for the Zerg player. More units coming on in to try to keep the Stimmed Mavericks at bay. Nothing keeps Stimmed Mavericks at bay. They are so damn good. Yeah, you heard me talk about how Stimmed Mavericks, you know, Mavericks killing Dracodons. How about Mavericks killing Bactylisks? Bet you never heard about that. Dropping the natural is going to be very painful. We got a lot of quads here to try to combat this, but Noiturne burrowing his gas workers, not his mineral ones, though. If he stands behind his Hatteras, the Cyprians won't be able to hurt him as much, but the Mavericks sure will. using that bullet projectile handling very, very nicely. Now they're moving across the map, though, with the rest of the army. Pisens definitely going to continue putting on pressure. We've got no static defense here. Noiturne caught getting his tier 2, but he's got only 8 pairs of quads coming, 3 Izira cores. That I don't think that's going to be enough to hold versus what Pisens has. He's even waypointed a couple of Masons over. Whether by mistake or not, he'll send one out just to... Oh, I thought he was going to scout sacrificially. He's going to make an anchor, but that's got 10 health. That's not going to work out. So that'll be stamped out pretty quick. Starcraft 2 vibes. And, okay, I mean, the stem comes out for the Mavericks. Yeah, you can pretty much just step on Noiturne at this point. Like, he is a bug waiting to be squashed. I feel like... Okay, if he doesn't stim, this fight is winnable. Normally, I don't ever say that kind of thing, but Pisens is still learning. Pisens is still learning. He's going to come in with the double drop. Once again, going for that pressure on the natural, forcing Noiturne to pick between killing the army at the front and turning to answer the army at the back. And so far, he's not actually able to kill the army because the Izira cores got caught on other things. A couple of units getting burrowed. Yeah, not so many of those units got away, but there's still one drop full of units. We got another Trojan, but it's only got 1 unit in it. Definitely want to do a little bit better than that. Unfortunately for Noiturne, the quads are just getting melted right now. Pisens has 3,500 minerals. He could absolutely run away with this in that respect, but instead he's just going to go ahead and clean house. He'll resume his drop and try to bust the circuit. See if maybe his Trojans can absorb some of the pressure from the incoming units, absorb some hits. Dude, he's got so much money, but he doesn't need to spend it. He's winning. He's rich. He's winning and he's rich. A little bit of a Maverick drop here. Already, there were some anti-drop circuits in the mineral line there. Natural is dead. Noiturne may soon follow. He's got to deal with the fact that there's a horde of Terran bio. I say horde because it's over more than 33. I don't think they're all here, though. I guess there's not quite a horde of Terran bio on his doorstep, but it was pretty close. And I think this is actually going to be it. I mean, Pisens has got him. Noiturne has got a bit to learn. He's got the right idea about the Larvosk preference, I think, but the tier 2 rushes, he's got some Lyrilisks out. He might actually delay this a little bit. Hold on. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say, I feel like there's no way. We got reinforcements coming in. If there were like twice as many Lyrilisks, that would definitely have been a different story, but GG has to be called. Game conceded as Pisens will take the series 3-1. And that is a wrap. So, if you can believe it, Pisens, our lovely Terran player, who is still on the newer side, versus Noiturne, he does end up winning. I am going to say, I feel like both of these players are able to do a lot better. I feel like okay, here's the weird thing, right? Pisens has done much better in FFAs. So I wonder why he was struggling more in the 1v1. Maybe he can tell us in the comments if he cares to tell us. Because he did very nicely. He got all the way up to tier 3. He helped the Shambler take down Cannoli. You guys saw that 1v1. You guys saw it. I mean, that FFA, rather. So, I'm surprised. I am surprised that he didn't, like, play the same kind of style or to the same degree. That being said, both of these players have a little bit to go. What I think I'll say right now is that I'm going to give Pisens class 3. I'm going to give Noiturne class 4. But I really expect Noiturne to rocket up to class 3 pretty soon. Especially since he's been training with Krankendow. And I think he had already said something about how he tried a couple of different things out differently after these games, and he's already seen much better results. So we're going to see how that one ends up going. But for all that and more, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you tomorrow for another Cosmonarchy cast, and I look forward to ringing in even more new players. GG.